All right, so I have not watched this yet. But this just came out, so this is pretty exciting. I'm gonna do my first ever reaction video. So it's gonna be a video of me reacting on stream to this trailer. By the way, if you guys haven't checked out my stream, make sure to do that. But all right, so this is the new trailer for preparing for battle in Pokemon's Sword and Shield. So let's just watch it, and I'll pause it as we're going. Or no, I'll react. I'll watch it one time all the way through, and then I'll react as we go. We got our starters. Okay, we got the wild area, looks like. Gigantamaxing, Dynamaxing, whatever that stuff is. New battle strategies. Okay, double battle. Okay, I always like double battle. Why is it considered new? Neutralizing gas. Okay, this is big. This is big. All other abilities get neutralized. Oh, that's cool. So it's kind of like Paravolts or like Morphos, but double battle. That's interesting. Whoa. Oh, that's his partner too. Oh, wow. New held item, Rune Service. Lowers the Pokemon's speed during Trick Room. Oh, that's so cool. That's really cool. So cool! Oh my god, that's so good for Dracos and like overheats. Okay, that just seems like another move that's like probably okay. Golden Knight spin ability. Reflects any stat lowering effects. Let me lower the volume some more. Shrug off moves that cause flinching. That just seems dumb to me, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, this looks fun, but it looks kind of like a cartoon more than a like strategy game at that point, you know? It's interesting how this whole thing is about double battles. This looks fun. The game looks fun. But, okay, so that was a trailer all about, like, battle mechanics. That's pretty interesting. Okay, so let's turn the volume off and just go through it slowly. Okay, I was really hoping we'd get some new Pokemon, but some new abilities is cool, and I definitely think some of them might help make it interesting. Alright, so this is just more about Dynamaxing and stuff like that. They got double battles apparently are a thing in this game. I didn't think anyone expected them to necessarily not be, so let's talk about this. Neutralizing gas. All other abilities get neutralized. So if I actually move myself, that might help. All other abilities get neutralized. So that's basically Mold Breaker, but in a double battle, it works on the whole board. So that could have really interesting applications in double battles where you could help like Earthquakes become a lot better. I think Earthquake kills this. So I don't know. This ability seems like it's got some limitations compared to Levitate on a poison type Pokemon. Levitate on a poison type Pokemon is really, really good. So I'm going to say right off the bat that this neutralizing gas ability does not seem that good. Mold Breaker doesn't seem that valuable on a Mon that already has Levitate and is a weak to ground otherwise. Like the ability to be immune to EQ is huge. That is the best and most common coverage move in the game, especially among physical attackers. And to be weak to EQ is really oftentimes a huge downfall of a lot of Pokemon. And to make that into an immunity is really huge, and I think honestly keeps Weezing viable in general. And then you with the Fairy type, you make it more viable, but you take away its Levitate, and I was hoping for something a little stronger than that. That's just Mold Breaker to me, for all intents and purposes. And I don't even think it's that useful for it itself to use. Like, obviously there's applications. Like, I'm imagining, like, if you were trying to play an OU or something and you used, like, Flamethrower on this, you could hit, like, Venusaur. That makes this a pretty good answer to Venusaur. But I don't think that Wheezing with a fairy type's good enough to be used in the OU tier anyways. There's better answers to things like Venusaur. Like, I'm just the more I think about it, like I can't think of an application where this is that useful. So I think you'd always rather run Levitate. And like as a levitating poison fairy type, I can easily imagine this being like maybe like up to an Arumon, but or like in draft format, like tier 3, tier 4 Mon. But as it is, I don't think Mold Breaker will be the go-to choice. That's kind of unfortunate, but yeah, that's just how I'm seeing it. Let's keep going. So yeah, we got obviously it's cancels those out. So that, I mean that's cool. It's a cool application in double battles. But yeah, it's interesting. They also chose to show the downside, but I guess they just want to show like, oh, you have to think about what you're doing. So let's talk about these held items. That's really cool. Room service. That seems really, really cool. That's going to be really good in VG. A lot of these items are for like the dub VGC format, which just seems to be like what they're stressing. Let's pause it and just talk about that though. So is that going to be good? Lowers Pokemon speed during Trick Room. Is that going to be good? On some Pokemon, yeah. Like for example, I'm using Chandelure right now, and there's a lot of battles where like Trick Room Chandelure can go off, but like it just kind of is a little too fast to outslow the slowest Pokemon on an opposing team. And this could really help with that. So that's really interesting. I think this has some applications. The struggle will be when you're using a Trick Room Pokemon if you don't just go. I think you would always go this over Leftovers unless you were already a super slow Pokemon. I don't think this move will help, or this item will help a Pokemon like Slowking, for example, that loves Trick Room, because it's already that so slow. Like this Pokemon, that's just redundant. Usually when you're Trick Rooming, you're already going to be the slowest Pokemon because your EVs and IVs are already going to lower, and your Nature's already going to lower your speed. So you're already going to be so slow that this won't help. This will only help Pokemon like Chandelure, for example, that love Trick Room when they can use it. But sometimes like a Chandelure doesn't outslow a Slowbro or a Slowking or whatever, and that's a problem when he's going to hit it with a Scald. So in that situation, this could be useful. But even then, you're going to make the decision, and I think this is going to be this is probably an item that won't see that much competitive play, because I think in competitive play, you assume your opponent isn't running Trick Room style sets, so you won't see your opponent using minus speed sets if they're in competitive, like OU and you were like the Smogon tiers. And for that reason, you're not going to see this in that game mode, because you would rather just run like a Life Orb or a Leftovers, or even just something to make your Pokemon better at doing its job of attacking, rather than running, or a Z move. I guess Z moves aren't a thing. I don't know what they're going to be in Smogon, I guess, but you'd rather run a move that would help you because you're probably going to outspeed everything. Oh, sorry, I guess outspeed under Trick Room everything anyways. So the only place where I think this item has any viable chance is going to be with draft style formats where you know what's coming on Pokemon that are middling speed tiers, so like in the 70 to 90 range, that would love to use Trick Room and have access to their own Trick Room, because you can't run this in singles format. You can't run this on a Pokemon that wants Trick Room support but can't run it itself. That's just too slow. Just not doing enough. It's not impactful enough fast enough, I think. But yeah, so like a Chandelure would love this item. But then again, in those situations, it's still not 100% always the play, because a Pokemon like Chandelure would want to sometimes run extra power like a Life Orb or something, or a Z move. So there's going to be a decision there. But that's a cool item, and it's really cool that an item like that exists, because it really opens up some more flexibility as far as Trick Room teams are involved. So that's really cool. I like that. All right, so let's keep going. So yeah, I think that's got some definite possibilities. Eject Pet. Now this could be really cool. This is a Pokemon, the item that can fit on so many Pokemon, because obviously Draco Meteor is a really common move. If you have Pokemon like Latios and Latias that will click a Draco and just switch right out, it could also be really good on like Rotom Mow and Rotom Heat, because they can click their respective Overheat or Leaf Storm and then switch out, which is also very interesting. That seems like maybe the best thing we've seen so far. So Weezing's ability wasn't that exciting, I think. The room service was it's interesting, and it's good that it exists, because the option's there. This seems like it has competitive viability, because you can drop a Draco, immediately shoot yourself out, and save yourself from the hard switch. And I assume you can pick what you switch out into, which makes this really good because you can drop a Draco, forcibly switch out into something that is better prepared to handle something and saves you that switch and that prediction and eases that, which is really nice. So this could be really good on a Pokemon that spams moves like Draco, Leaf Storm, or Overheat. Obviously, it wouldn't be good on Superior because even though that's a move, but like for obvious reasons. But on a Pokemon that actually get the stat drop, so it's not good on Contrary Mons. But now let's talk about some of the downsides of this. I imagine if we look at how it's described, if Pokemon switches out if the stats are lowered, so Intimidate will mess this up super bad. So something like Landorus Therian, which is the most common Pokemon in OU, could mess this up really, really bad, and just force you to switch out just by switching in. I wonder what the priority is on that, though. That's something we're going to have to learn, because do you switch out at the end of turn? Do you get to fire your attack off or not? I imagine you don't, because that would make Landorus Therian a much better strategy against this. So like you see Eladio is about to click Draco, you switch in your Landorus Therian, you force it to switch out before it gets its attack off. That could be a really, really interesting just wrinkle to OU metagame and just standard metagames and playing against any Pokemon with Intimidate. So against Pokemon with Intimidate, you might not want to run this, but in other cases, it could be really good. Again, it's going to have to compete in competitive probably with Z moves, or it's going to have to compete with like Life Orbs or Choice Specs, or just those Pokemon that click those attacks, or Scarfs, love to just be able to spam that attack really powerfully. So it has competition, but this is a very, very viable option for those Pokemon, I think. And Intimidate is the only thing you have to keep an eye on. New move, Breaking Swipe. This doesn't seem that exciting to me. I'm not even going to spend the time to talk about this. This just seems like an average move you click. This seems interesting to me. Reflects any stat lowering effects. So that is amazing, I feel like. For the exact reasons that we just talked about, like this hard counters Intimidate Pokemon so well, because almost all Pokemon that run Intimidate, you think about like Landorus Therian or like Incineroar, almost all Pokemon that like run Intimidate regularly are going to be physical attackers, and this just reflects back their Intimidates. So this is a really, really good tech option against Pokemon with Intimidate. So I'm really thinking that this is going to be a really good move. Yeah, this is going to be really, really good, I think. Or ability, I should say. It's probably not omnipresent just because I don't know if it's going to carry Corviknight. It makes Corviknight a really, this hard, Corviknight just became, not that it wasn't already because it's a Steel Flying type, right? But it became the most hard counter to Landorus Therian probably in the game. It takes Skarmory to a whole other level and says, you can't even intimidate me anymore, I'll intimidate you back. I wonder what other moves are options with this. Something that I guess this is also cool against like stat drops, right? So things like Crunch, would reflect the stat drop. That's interesting. This seems like it's going to be a really good ability on a defensive Pokemon that doesn't want to get Crunch drops or doesn't want to get Intimidate drops. I like this. This could help Corviknight. I don't know how much, but it would move it a little bit upwards, and that always matters. So it already seems like a Pokemon with obviously an amazing typing, probably a good ability. Oh, sorry. So yeah, it's now a good ability, probably a good move pool. I don't know. That seems like a viable option to me. So I think that's going to help Corviknight out a little bit. Dynamax, Power. I don't really like Dynamaxing in general. I mean, I guess it seems interesting. Is that just in general? This doesn't really explain. Is that something that all Dynamaxing Pokemon can do? I guess we don't know. I don't understand. It doesn't really explain what these powerful secondary effects are. Machamp's attack rose. Oh, wow. So it can raise your teammates. You can raise your whole team's attack. So Dynamax, what they're showing here basically is that Dynamax, you could have interesting applications into their VGC meta or into any kind of doubles meta. And so that's cool. And I think for players who play VGC, a lot of these items are going to be really interesting. Because Trick Room items can be really impactful then. Yeah. So I think a lot of this video is to hype up VGC in Sword and Shield, which is their official format. And I think they did a good job with that. If I was a frequent VGC player, I would be really hyped at this. So Yeah, I think that's pretty exciting. And I'm really excited to see more about this stuff, especially because we're in the last couple months before the game drops. So, all right. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. Uh, Let me know what you guys think of these moves, these abilities, these items. I think it's all really cool stuff. Hopefully, we get to see more soon, and I'll be able to make more of these videos. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this in the future as well, for sure. All right. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Krakenation out.